Everybody wants to get high marks, but very few know why they actually have such a desire. The desire for high marks is akin to the desire for earning lots of money. If you ask anybody how much money do you need, the most common answer will be how can money ever be enough? People are scared to think about a limit on money. Similarly, people do not want to think about how much marks or what grade do they actually need. Of course, we all want to have an A plus, but question is, do we really need A plus? So in this section, we'll explore the answer to a question that is never asked by the educational system because it will be an antithesis for them. Of course, the objective is to score high marks. There is nothing to think about it. How outrageous to even question why we need marks. That is the position of most of the teachers and the educational institutions. As I mentioned in an earlier video and section, exams are nothing more than a game with a certain set of rules. Then if we are able to follow the rules and master them with the appropriate strategies, we will be able to win points in the case of games and marks in the case of exams. There is nothing divine or special about scores. They just serve as a purpose to measure how well you have played the game or written in an exam. But why do we want to get more marks than less marks? Let's explore. The first reason is to validate our effort and strategies. Basically, what this means is that we want to know whether the way we have been studying or the amount we have been studying was right. If it was correct, then we would score high marks in the fashion that we discussed earlier. That is, by being able to satisfy the wants of the examiner. On the other hand, if we were wrong, then we would have to conclude that our approach to studying was incorrect. So basically, we want to score high marks to know whether we are on the right track or not. It's a very valid reason. You can say that marks are like a thermometer whereby we take the temperature of our bodies to see if we have a fever or if it is normal. Then, like measuring our body temperature, the marks can indicate many things. A fever can indicate that you have a stomach problem or a heart problem or some infections somewhere in the body, but the temperature itself would not be able to definitely pinpoint the origin of the problem that caused the fever. Similarly, the level of marks attained indicate that there is a problem, but whether it is in the lack of hours spent or the lack of understanding or the ignorance of the gaming nature of exams that has caused the lower marks cannot be determined by the marks alone. However, it's a starting point for further investigation. Whereas validation was a kind of scientific reason for the existence of our desires of having high marks, the more mundane reason is that we get a kick of dopamine hormones when we are able to score high. Again, it's very much like when we score a goal in football or when we are able to kill our opponents in an online game like PUBG or Free Fire. It's also like when we get lots of likes, mentions, shares and comments on a post that we put on a social media site. So getting high marks is just pleasurable as opposed to getting lower marks. We can say that the reason we want high marks is because it's fun. So some students might just study for fun of the dopamine kick that they receive by getting high marks. In the process, learning would occur, of course, but that would be the side effect in such a situation where the desire is personal satisfaction. Another major reason for students to want to get high marks is very similar to why adults want to earn lots of money. It is for status and power. You'd interrupt me by saying that when you are talking about money, that is quite obvious. But when we talk about exams and scores, how can status and power come in the picture? Well, I'll share you my own philosophy. I could score high marks in my exam throughout my education, but I never tried to follow the rules of the game of exams properly so as to get an A plus. The main reason was that that would have deprived me of the other component of studying, which is to understand. I wanted to understand and not waste time in playing this stupid game of exams. I knew that there was no way out of exams, so I played along, but never to score high, just to pass the exams and get at least a B, not to be called a fool. I was never motivated by the status that being first, second, or even the top 10 would have given me. Besides that, if I was the first boy, I would have power over my friends in terms of authority. Maybe they would do me some favors in order to get my notes or to be able to cheat in the exams from my paper. The teachers would have respected me more. However, now neither the status nor the power attracted me. However, for most of the students, the rewards that come from being first or the top 10 is a very lucrative one. People praising your name, your picture hung on the wall, and now on social media to celebrate your victory. That can be quite addictive. That is status. Then, when we apply for college or university, we have so much power with higher marks. In this context, it means that people will not challenge us that easily. Basically, we would have followers. In fact, getting high marks is as good as having lots of money. Whereas money cannot be distributed endlessly, knowledge from the first boy could be transferred freely and infinitely to other students as long as they bow before the altar of the first boy or girl. Finally, the main reason and the most valid reason we should try to get higher marks is that in the next level we could get a scholarship. Everywhere in the world, the educational institutions are seeking for students who have potential and who will score high marks that will in turn increase their status in academia. Also, that particular institution will have more power over resources because they produce high results. Then, if you want to have great output, what better way than to have great input instead of having a great process? Maybe you got confused at this point. See, any educational institution is as good as the students that come into it. You can't turn coal to gold, but if the input was ore of gold, then the process can turn it into gold. What I'm trying to say is the world is shamelessly dumb. They do not look at the input and they just look at the output. Then when they see a college producing students that get very high marks and succeed in life, they assume that the processes of the college and the system it has to educate the students is of the highest caliber. What I try to tell from the above gold analogy is that no matter how good the teachers are, the syllabus is, the infrastructure is, it cannot turn poor students into great students. However, if great students enter, then they are like the ore of gold, whereas the poor students are like coal. At the beginning, both the coal and the ore of gold look similar. That is why education institutions rely on the exam results of the last degree attained by the students to determine whether that particular student is coal or golden ore in hiding. If they get students with high marks, they are willing to provide more scholarship, if not full scholarship, with stipend so that they can fool the world by producing high scores in the output and giving the impression that their processes, systems, syllabus, teachers, infrastructure was the cause. However, by now you know it's not true, and it was the original input that caused the fabulous output. This is the phenomena that we can see in top college like Harvard College and so on. So I'm not trying to blaspheme the academia or anything. I'm just providing the reason why we need to get good marks in the exams. We want to get a scholarship in the next degree that we are seeking. And you know what's in it for them by now.